Welcome back to the Football Terrace. Ruben Neves to Manchester United is still a deal that is on, according to a number of sources. They claim that Manchester United is still interested in bringing Ruben Neves to Man United this summer. This very much echoes what we've been told many times on the Football Terrace this summer by the likes of Pete O'Rourke and Dean Jones, that Manchester United would like to bring another player in that central midfield area. But of course, this deal rests upon Manchester United selling and having other players leave the club, both on loan, because that saves on salary. In the majority of loan deals, between 50% to 100% of all of the salary is paid for by the club gaining the player, plus loan fees are paid in. So this raises and saves money at the same time. On top of that, the likes of Jesse Lingard being sold are going to be key and pivotal to Manchester United making more signings this summer. Now, what needs to be discussed in relation to this is what is the rhetoric going to be from the majority of the media. Of course, we've seen Graham Bailey come out and claim that United is still interested in buying Ruben Neves. But of course, player exits are going to be key. I wouldn't be shocked over the course of the next hour, 12 hours, 24 hours to see a grade one, tier one journalist come out and make a claim along the lines of no current talks are happening. There's no current attempt to sign the player. As of now, nothing is happening. I wouldn't be shocked to see a report such as that come out very, very soon about Ruben Neves. That's what you're going to see about all players linked to Manchester United in the coming 11 to 12 days, unless somebody is sold. I think it's very clear when you read between the lines that United would like an additional player, but will not stretch the finances and will not put too much burden upon the financial element of the club without selling individuals first. That is clear. They're taking a bit of a risk ahead of time by buying the likes of Jadon's, financially speaking, by buying the likes of Varane and Sancho before making sales. But I do want your views and I do want your opinions on this. Do me a big, big favor and smash that like button this morning. Remember, we're launching Friday Night on the Terrace tonight. Let's do this, people. Morning, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Make sure that like button is being smashed and you subscribe to the Terrace, but get those bell notifications on because tonight, the launch 6 p.m. of Friday Night on the Terrace is here. I'm very excited myself, all ready to go. I'll do a morning stream and then I'm going to head myself down to that London, get myself all ready to go, and we'll be in there tonight for you. Very, very excited about bringing you that show this evening. Morning, Dwayne. Hope you're well. Looking forward to that, my brother. Going to see you there, my friend. Man like Dwayne's coming down to the studio tonight. It's going to be good to see him. What other members we got in here? Cole P, good morning to you. David here. Oh, you're having a pop at each other. I love it when I honestly, if I didn't have to present, I'd love to just watch you all have a dig at one of it, dig at each other. Morning, I'm calm. I don't feel desperate for a CDM. The defense will naturally be stronger with Varane. Do you know what, David? I actually agree with you. I'm not in no desperation for a CDM right now. I think this bide our time if we can't get the person we need. We also can't put too. The irony is, Man United fans have moaned for years that we've bloated the squad, that we've overpaid, that we've got too high a wage bill. And then we start putting actions in place that address this, and everyone gets angry. But it isn't Man United do have players on salaries that are really high. There is a legacy problem at Man United that's impacting Ollie's current team. It isn't Ollie's fault. He wasn't there. He wasn't in charge when a lot of these players were being given stupidly big contracts, or he didn't have the authority at the club at the time that he's developed over the past 2 years or so. But no one's really selling players. Chelsea are just about now starting to get people out the door. They're doing a very, very good job indeed. And they've got one of the best in the business. Liverpool have struggled to move players on. Arsenal have struggled to move players on. And I wouldn't. I would expect a couple of exits, but clubs are holding out. Clubs are holding out, trying to force the Man Uniteds, the Arsenals, the Liverpools into lowering their asking prices, and it stalled the market massively. But on to Ruben Neves. Man United are 110% looking at trying to buy him. 110% they are trying to buy him. Without a shadow of a doubt in my mind, he is of interest. Contact has been made with the representatives. Personal terms would be no issue. The player also knows the score. The player knew that he was our third stroke fourth priority this summer. Man United wanted a central defender and an attacker, i.e., Sancho first. They then had ideals of looking at fullback cover and central midfield, but those positions relied upon sales. Now, as I've said, a lot of Man United fans are very frustrated and they're very angry. Oh, we've got a terrible sales team. We can't get rid of anybody. It's all terrible. We're going to write this window off. I'm calling that petulance. It's been an excellent summer in the market for Manchester United. The squad's improved, no doubt about it. Is it perfect? No. Is the summer ever perfect? I would argue not. We're in a very strong position going into the beginning of the season. Paul Pogba and Bruno purring. Cavani to come back. Rashford's going to be fit at some point. Yeah, we haven't even seen Sancho at this moment in time. You know, the low is okay cover. Would I have preferred Kieran Trippier? Absolutely. But watch this space even on that deal in the next few days if sales can go through. If. Terry, when did Neves become a target for Man United? United have been looking at Ruben Neves for a couple of years, along with many other Premier League clubs. He's been on Man United's list for the past couple of summers. Now, this summer was the year that he was available at the most cheapest price since joining Wolves, around that 35 to 40 million pound mark. Man United have the funds to be able to put down and buy the player, but it is about balancing them books. Club owners, whether we like it or loathe it, do not want to pay players exorbitant amounts of money to keep sitting on benches and bloat the squad further. They're just not going to do it. Whether I agree with it or not, would I love us to have 50 people in the squad and we give them all big wages? Doesn't matter if they play or not. Yeah. In reality, is that going to happen? Absolutely not. Football Talks here says Chelsea wants Saul and Neves, according to Fabrizio Romano. According to Peter O'Rourke 6 weeks ago, we already knew this. When Liverpool first made contact and were negotiating the situation many, many weeks ago now, 5-6 weeks ago, Chelsea were a team then. Peter O'Rourke broke that news live on the Football Terrace that they'd already had preliminary conversations. Chelsea are a bit like Man United. They are looking at least one other player this summer, maybe even two, but it's about removing players from their team first. Emerson is, of course, now out the door. Tammy has moved on as an example. Chelsea are really clearing the ranks. Now, Chalobah is going to stay. That could change the Jules Kounde situation from a pressure point of view. However, they are still actively in the market trying to sell Kurt Zouma. Why is Kurt Zouma not left? Because Sevilla and West Ham haven't been prepared to pay him what he's earning at Chelsea. So it's happening to all clubs. It isn't exclusive to Manchester United. So that's why I'm not throwing my toys out my pram. If something was only us, if everybody else had sold their players, then I would be annoyed at Man United specifically. But it isn't the case. Man like Tim, long time no see, Tim. He says, shouldn't have given Mata a new contract. He cost us 10K per minute in the Prem last season. Do you know what? I think the Mata deal and the Grant deal are a little different. They took pay cuts this time around. There's ideals to move them into more managerial coaching, directorship level roles at the club. So I understand why they stayed. I also understand renewing contracts. United are still getting over that terrible legacy, that period from LVG through to the beginning, even in the first 6 months of Ollie's reign, when he was predominantly the interim manager. A lot of those new deals that were given out in that time period were wrong. I think now if Ollie was in the position he is now 3 years ago, there's no way David De Gea would have got this new big deal. We are getting better, but bad practices take time to fix. And then you have the legacy element. You have the legacy element of, what Phil Jones on 70, 80 G a week. He ain't leaving. He ain't leaving to go and play for £30,000 elsewhere. It shows a measure of the person that doesn't want to play football. But equally, literally going to West Ham means he's going to halve his salary. It means it's going to take him 2 years to earn what he can earn sitting on the bench at Man United. And that's the decision that he's made as a player. It's frustrating, but it is what it is. A lot of people here saying the Jules Kounde deal is being worked on. We've got an update on Jules Kounde coming later. Look, the Jules Kounde deal hasn't changed. It hasn't changed from a Chelsea point of view. this whole time. As I admitted, and I put a tweet out, and I apologize for this because I don't like to I don't like to what's the word I'm looking for here? I don't like to put things out there in terms of trying to mislead people. I was told by a source of ours from France, say a source, he's a pretty good football agent. He's the gentleman that gave me the information about Raphael Varane, when he was coming, how he was coming, and that was all spot on. I was just a little bit silly. I didn't wait for I didn't think about the probable upsets. The only thing that stopped Chelsea from getting Jules Kounde was the fact that Kurt Zuma refused to go both to Sevilla and to West Ham at the time. The gentleman I spoke to told me that he would go. It was almost a certainty. The player wants to leave. He's happy with it. That's where it all fell apart. Since then, Chelsea have been working hard to find Kurt Zuma a suitor. It just hasn't happened at this moment in time. If Kurt Zuma leaves, there's an 85 to 90% chance that Jules Kounde comes in. The reason that chance is shrinking is because time is running out. But Chelsea still want the player. I don't believe the Chalobah situation changes it at all. It changes it at all. And as we know, they're still working on the Jules Kounde deal. The Saul and Neves deal is still there or thereabouts for Chelsea Football Club. There's no doubt about it whatsoever. So I wouldn't be deterred. I wouldn't be frustrated. I wouldn't be angry. I wouldn't be worried about those deals. The reasons they've slowed down is it's been about getting players out. The Saul and Neves deal is massively reliant on getting players out wherever you look, because he's on £300,000 a week. You're gonna I think if you're gonna sign him at Chelsea or Man United, who have both looked at him, he's 200 grand a week. Bakayoko leaving, Emerson leaving, Tammy leaving, Zuma leaving. It frees up the money to bring these players in. Even Chelsea Football Club have to balance their books, no doubt about it whatsoever. Someone says Sal Terry. Yes, I don't know what you mean by that, but there we go. I don't know what you mean by that. Imagine Man City still need another 200 million for a striker, but still not winning the Champions League. That it would be hilarious if they spent 250 on two players and didn't win the Champions League in the next few years, wouldn't it? Terry, your memory is superb. How do you do it? Well, I don't know what you mean, but my memories on things I've spoken about are good, because what I'm being told is true. True to the sense of I'm telling you what I'm being told. People get things wrong, and the gentleman I speak to, look, he's not a transfer expert, he's an agent, and he's someone I've known since working back at Barclays. He's a very, very good guy. He's very, very reliable. It was my mistake to not ask a few more questions and think, actually, but if Zuma doesn't go through, then what happens? What he said to me at the time is that if Zuma doesn't go to Sevilla, Chelsea would just top the money up on the deal, because they'll sell Kurt Zuma because there's other suitors that are in for him. What I had neglected to think about was, shit, but what if he doesn't go to those clubs as well and no one buys him? That's the question I should have asked, and that's my mistake as an individual. But I'm still pretty confident that deal can go through. I'm sure that deal can still go through. Let's have a little look here. Terry, I'm sorry, I've got to leave as a paid member due to finances. Do you know what, Steve? Every single person who does super chats and pays to be a member of the Football Terrace, I have such tremendous love, affection, and thanks to. If your financial circumstances change and it's no longer viable for you, you never. Look, I'm a working class man who's been there in that situation, so I respect that massively, my friend. I respect that massively. There's no need to say sorry to me at all. There really, really isn't. Saul Neves will stay there and is unlikely, according to Fabrizio. Listen, I've not seen what Fabrizio said, but I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if he stays. And that's because Barca can't afford him. Liverpool Football Club are not willing to give him the salary that he's demanding. And it's Kounde and Tchouaméni are on the list ever before Saul Neves is at Chelsea. Saul Neves might just end up pricing himself out of a move. And he can't. I know Fabrizio, someone sent me a link actually. Fabrizio has kind of said that it's Atletico Madrid that are going to kind of solve his future. I don't really agree with that. I think it's more about the player and what he's demanding in wages. That's my interpretation. of this situation, but we'll see. Neves or Niguez. Do you know what? If it's to replace Paul Pogba, it's Saul Niguez. If it's to create a single pivot DM or a DM, it's got to be Ruben Neves for me. His ability to dictate play from deep is very, very good indeed. So that's who I would go with there. Smith says Odegaard is a superb signing. Buzzing is what Smith has got to say here. Terry, did you see my comment? No, I didn't, my friend. I must have missed it. Oh, here it is. Terry, what do you think about what Tuchel said apparently about Chalobah? No, I'm not surprised. Like, I think it's look, I look at it this way. When a player, I believe in meritocracy in every walk of life. If someone does it, so if I've had Jess on the show quite a lot recently because she come and did a bit. I want to start bringing more co-hosts on. So I brought her on. She did really, really well. The audience liked her. She spoke well. She made good points. So I had her on again. I don't have people on my shows because, who's got the most followers? Who do most people like at the moment? It's about meritocracy. You get an opportunity, you do well, I'm going to ask you to come back. And I like to see that in every walk of life. I didn't promote people that I worked with because they were my friends. I didn't give people jobs because of quotas. I didn't give people opportunities because I felt I had to. I gave people jobs and opportunities in their lives based on their ability, based on meritocracy, based on their performance. I don't care who they are, where they're from, what they do. To a degree, I don't care how much what I think about them personally either. I had a guy on my sales team that wanted a promotion. I didn't like him. I thought he was an arse. I thought he was a bit of an arse, a bit arrogant. Didn't really have the mentality that I liked, but he delivered. And his colleague, he was never rude to his colleagues. He was professional majority of the time. But when it come to the promotion, we did all the assessments. He did the best assessment. He had the best track record in the business. So who got the job? He did. Because you can't, that's how things should be. So when I look at the Chalobah situation, it's bang on from Thomas Tuchel. He's done well in preseason. He's done well in the opening games. Give him now the opportunity this season to break into the first team. Now, it shouldn't mean because he's an academy player, because of the emotional story, because of the sentiment to it, that he should be played above people performing better than him, above people that are better than him. But if he's there and thereabouts, he's going to get chances in League Cups. He's going to get chances in the Champions League games at some point. He's going to get chances in Premier League games. Grab the ball by the horns and show the manager that you deserve to be in that team. Show you're not a flash in the pan. He's now going to get that opportunity to. And for me, meritocracy is so important at any club. I don't care that Jadon Sancho is banging, is an amazing player. If Dan James comes in for 3 or 4 games because of a knock to Sancho, and Dan James is balling out, he stays in the team. That's how it should be. You know, if Bruno's struggling and Donny van der Beek comes in and is killing it, you will see me state Donny van der Beek needs to be in this team. He shouldn't be getting dropped when he's in form. That competition, that meritocracy is what creates greatness, in my opinion. It really does. Terry, what are your thoughts on Arsenal being forced to play last week against Brentford after having 4 players COVID outbreak? My view is, was it against the protocol? Was it against the protocol? As in, I don't know what the protocol is, but is there an upper limit? I don't. It is what it is. You know, what if they got it? What if they got other illnesses? What if they just had colds? What if they had food poisoning? What if 4 of them pulled their hamstrings the day before? Yeah, I just think that, you know, it is what it is. I think it just is what it is. I think it is what it is. Jesse's quality, absolutely brilliant presenter. Let's have a look at some more of these comments here. Yeah, no problem for reading that comment. I try to read as many comments as I can. It's just difficult sometimes. Southwark here says, Terry, what do you think about Liverpool with no signings? Do you think they should be worried? I've triggered a lot of Liverpool fans indirectly or not on purpose this summer. To win the league, you need more signings. The arguments I've seen thrown in at me, I find astronomical. I find astronomically weird, and I use the word weird politely. I don't know how to use it. I mean it politely. I don't mean it like in a horrible way, but I've been weirded out by the things that people have said. So I make Chelsea favourites based on the the signings they've made, the players that they've come into the football club, etc. That's who I make favourites. But I've seen some responses to things, and I'm honestly, like I've said, weirded out by everything. Like I tweeted yesterday that if Chelsea sign, if Chelsea were to sign Tchouaméni and Kounde, they would win. They would win the league. A Liverpool fan responded by saying, "Unproven players in the Prem, come on, lad, put some respect on City, Liverpool, and United, and the intensity and expectations of the league." And again, of course, I responded to that. I said I already made Chelsea favourites. Adding that level of player improves their chances. And this was the response. It was like, why? Lukaku doesn't add 20 points. Their end of the season was worrying. They lost to Leicester and City beat themselves in that final. And I'm sort of like, and I've had that response from a lot of Liverpool fans about any team I've made as favourites. Oh, but, City don't have a striker and Man United have got Ollie. Liverpool have got a chance this year. There's no doubt. Of course they have. But I believe they're going to pick up injuries. And I believe as they start, do you know why I believe they're going to pick up injuries? Because every single team is going to pick up injuries. It's almost a guarantee within the season. Now, who gets injured is a different conversation. But they're going to lose players. And I don't see that their squad is thick enough to be able to compete with everybody else's squads now that they're improving. Like I said, the point of my tweet is, Tchouaméni and Kounde are going to be leading players in the Premier League next season if they join? No. But do they bolster that squad where if you're as you're rotating and as you're making substitutes, is the overall quality of your first 11 dropping dramatically? No, it isn't. I look at Liverpool, a couple of injuries in, and Nate Phillips is back in the team. So I don't mean these things with any disrespect. But Liverpool Football Club need to win. They need to sign 2 more players if they're going to win this league, in my opinion. Unless they go the whole year with not a single player picking up an injury and no fatigue kicking in. And I think that's less likely than injuries happening. And I can't get away from it. Tchouaméni is no longer linked with United now that Neves is still on. Listen, I think that Tchouaméni is still in Man United's sights. What you're going to see when it comes to Man United now, I was talking to somebody about this last night. And listen, Dean and Pete will say, look, Pete said this 4 weeks ago. United will make no more signings unless players leave. The message coming directly out of Man United now and its representatives is Man United are no longer active in the market. What I'm also told is that's BS, but that is what they're going to toe the party line. Certain journalists will toe what Man United want. Why? Because they get exclusive information about other deals before anybody else. Remember, it is a business, it is a game, and it's a brilliant game. But you have to learn to read between the lines. When you actually read the articles, forget the tweets. Articles are so important, or listen to people's streams. They say things like, Man United are not currently working. I'm making this up now, but it's an example. Man United are not currently working on the deal for Ruben Neves. As it stands right now, the only thing Man United are focusing on is selling players. Could the land of the lie of the land change after selling players? There is potential for it. So when you actually read into it, they don't completely close the door. It's open-ended. That way, Man United is protected if we do no more business. They're not wrong in either direction as a journalist. It's open-ended. Well, if they don't sign anybody, I said that they're not actively looking. And if we do sign somebody, I said that maybe things could open up later. When I see comments like that, I don't need to be considerate to the club and think, oh, okay, I'll hop back. That means these deals are on still, but they're relying on multiple other factors. It's just, I think everybody gets that. The problem you find though, Robbie Singh, is that people will fluctuate towards stories that they fluctuate towards stories that suit their narrative. So when Fabrizio yesterday said that they're not currently working on it, Chelsea fans jumped on it like a bitch in heat because it's what they wanted to hear. Not taking into consideration that the same very man said that Lukaku was absolutely impossible, untouchable. Now, Fabrizio wasn't wrong. the club changed its stance or the club was lying. One of the two. So that's why when I hear what Fabrizio said, I go, okay, thank you. I'll take that into consideration. Doesn't overtly change my mind. Lautaro Martinez. Of course, there's a chance he stays at Inter. Of course, he might sign a new deal at Inter. But they have told us porky pies on multiple occasions this summer. So I'm not going to believe them, regardless to what any journalist says, until I see the proof in the pudding. So, when it comes, and that's what I say about the transfer stories, it's read between those lines. Arsenal fans. So I'm not treating Arsenal any different to Man United. I believe Man United are looking at Neves. I believe we looked at Saul and Neves, and I believe we've been looking at Tchouaméni. I believe we've been looking at Camavinga. I believe we have had conversations with reps, with clubs, and we're working on those deals. We haven't bid officially for any of them because we have to sell players first. That's the story, though. And there's a comment here from the Devil's Advocate, and I'm making bang on. He said, "I'm sick to death of hearing that United are open to the possibility of signing another player." It's not even about your last bit about do it. Then isn't the point? It's we're just being spin. We're just being given spin. Of course, we're open to it, but we're not doing it until we sell other players. If we sell other players, then there's a chance that we're going to do it. That's just where it is right now. Man United are between a rock and a hard place when it comes to bringing new people in. What's frustrating for people is that we kind of it's the semantics of it. No, United are not actively working on things. But if there's open to the possibility of signing people, they're not going to sit on their hands. They're going to still do work, keep things alive in case the sales come in. That's just how it's going to be. And I feel like sometimes we're not lied to per se. It's our own misgivings, if that makes sense. It's their own misgivings. If for instance, I don't know, if a fairly credible journalist in the moment says that Jules Kounde could be coming to Man United fans will jump on like, wow. And if another journalist in an hour says, actually, I don't think Man United are working on it, Chelsea fans will believe that more than the other report, regardless of who's more credible, because they want the story to be true. And I think what we need to learn to do more of as fans is listen to what multiple people have got to say. And as I said about the Tchouaméni deal yesterday, Sasha Tavolieri is highly credible, reliable, honest. Now, he's been told something. What he's been told he believes to be true, but based on the person who is giving him that information. Man United coming out and telling Fabrizio Romano and Samuel Luckhurst that they're not currently working on it. Why is that a surprise to people? You're probably going to see that today about Ruben Neves. At some point today, someone's going to come out and say United are not working towards Ruben Neves after Graham Bailey's claims have come out. Why? Because Man United are in a position where they don't want to be seen as active. They don't want to be seen. What they were briefing people about all summer with Varane is that they weren't taking the transfer seriously because they weren't sure if they could land him. They were taking it exceedingly seriously. But publicly, they didn't want it to seem that way because if they missed out on him, they didn't want the embarrassment of it. And they're only doing that to protect your feelings as fans. It's only your feelings they're trying to protect. So if you want the full truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, stop being so sensitive. And when your club gets rejected, take it on the chin. Until fans can learn to take rejection, you're always going to be fed the news in this very way. So that's all I'm saying, my guys. Slens, I just got your DM, bruv. Absolutely. Will be a pleasure to have you in the studio tonight, my friend. I'm going to literally, as I'm talking to you right now, I've copied and pasted, and I'm sending you the address now to get you. So it'll be nice to meet you, my friend, as well. I've been a big contributor towards the terrace and a member and everything else, my brother. So thank you. Just sent you the address there, my friend. Top man, Slens. You might be watching as well. I don't know, but so there we go. Robbie, to your point, after seeing what happened with Sancho last year and this year with Lukaku, I suppose you didn't really know till they hold up the jerseys. Yeah, like you no one 100% knows. It becomes. I'm a football fan and a content creator. I now am very privileged through what I've built with the terrace that I've got access to a number of agents, a number of journalists that I can bounce stories off of. So whenever a story trends, I'm on the phone, texting Pete, texting Dean, reaching out to some of these agencies. Have you heard this? What do you think? What's your opinions? 80% of what I get back is opinion based. And then some go, look, I'll go and put the feelers out and they come back to me with what they've heard. But even then, I tell you what I've heard, but I then give you an opinion. Do I think it will go through? All summer, what did I say about Lukaku? Don't think it's dead. I think it's there. Why? Too much noise that it could go through. Too much noise. I think when a club has truly stopped trying to buy players, we do what Fergie used to do. We're not getting anybody else. That is it. I can promise you. Like, I only believe it when it's unequivocal, when it's undeniable, unyielding, is what I would say. Like, could Lautaro Martinez still leave Inter Milan? In my opinion, he still could. He may not, but he still could. However, what we're in the world of now is people twisting things into Terry said it could happen, and therefore, if it doesn't, Terry's wrong. I'm not wrong because it could have happened, but I still think he could stay. Both these things are possibilities, but everybody wants to live in Rainbow Land where something either 100% is or 100% isn't happening. That polarization is dangerous. You know, all these deals are still available, but they all rely upon other factors. I just like to have that explained to me, and then I can just make my own mind up. I'm at a point where I'm 80% sure Man United are going to sign nobody else. I actually feel like that's more likely right now. But I know we're working on other deals. What I hate seeing are these news reports of United are doing no more business. They're working on nothing. That isn't true. That isn't true. But I understand why the news is put out that way, because if we're working on these deals but we don't pull them off, everybody gets their knickers in a twist. So I understand why the clubs do it. It's us. We have caused this problem ourselves. It's not the media. It's not the clubs. It's us. People always say they want the truth. No one wants the truth. They only want the truth if the truth is what they want to hear. It suits what they want as a person. Whenever you get the truth and it's not what you want to hear, everyone throws their hands out the back. That's why everyone lies so much. Almost, I've gone through my life trying to tell people the truth. Half the time you've got to lie to them because they can't handle the truth. They can't handle it. Legit. Raul here says, I think our transfer business is done for the summer. We already got Varane and Sancho. I don't see us moving to anyone on, and without selling, we won't buy. And that there, my friend, is a very sensible, intelligent, and articulate way to think about this. Honestly, stop believing what clubs tell journalists. They are huge brands controlling PR and branding. Only believe what when tier one say it's done. Again, though, yeah, I mean, when they say it's done, and that's the point. It's like when Fabrizio, people call Fabrizio a tapping merchant because when he says it's done, it is done. But that's because he won't say it's done until he knows it is done, right? But Fabrizio has got, when it comes to these talks are happening, this might happen. I mean, some things he said are done or 100% have not happened. Gini, Messi, Lukaku off the top of my head. But that's also because things change last minute. But I just say to fans, enjoy the ride, enjoy the speculation. What could this player do? Have fun with it. Everybody's taking it so seriously. It's become a bit boring, like really boring, you know? Jason here says, love the content as usual. I think I think the reason why some people don't agree with Chelsea or United as faves is they haven't proven they can go on a 10+ winning streak. City plus even a poor Liverpool team last season have. Yeah, and I do hear you on that. And I don't put Man United as favourites. Man United are 4 favourites. We have to be 4 favourites. Our squad's is only as good or equally as good as everybody else in the top 4, and our manager isn't as good. So we cannot be considered favourites above anybody else. That, of course, can change 5-10 games in because we see how people play. But I think it could be a very close race this year. And when I say Chelsea are favourites, I don't mean Chelsea are running away with it by 20, 30 points. And also, Chelsea don't need to be 20 points better. Lukaku doesn't need to generate 20 more points for Chelsea to win the league. Like, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. Because otherwise, if that was the case, nobody else would have won the league since City got 100 points. Because no one's hit 100 points. But no one's hit 100 points since City were Centurions. But every season, someone's won the league, haven't they? So you just need to have more points than your opponents. And I think Chelsea can do that this year. I think Chelsea can do it. I really do. Simon here says we need Saul over Camavinga or Neves because they play as holding midfielders and also box-to-box role if we need them to. Yeah, look, look, we've got enough box-to-box. I think we've got enough box-to-box. Just listen, Scott McTominay when he's going box-to-box, I'm fairly happy with when you've got Paul Pogba and Bruno around. That energy, that running, creating space for others, tenacious in a tackle, great. Like, honestly, you stick him with, Neves in the middle at times, Pogba a bit more advanced. Fine. Absolutely fine. have you seen the new Ajax kit? I haven't, but I'll give it a little. I'll give it a little. I'll give it a little search. I'll give it a little search up now. Actually, let me go and have a look at this. Ajax. Do you know what's? Oh, nice. Like Bob Marley inspired, right? Do you want to know a little interesting fact? Last night, randomly from nowhere, Julian Marley started following me. Legit. He did. I'm not even lying, bro. Julian Marley started following me. I'll show you. In case any of you don't believe me. Look at that. Man like Julian Marley, bruv. Julian Marley following Terry Flewers. I was actually really chuffed. I was like, that's Julian Marley. Yeah. No, that kit looks nice, you know. I like that. I was really chuffed. I do like that. Make sure that like button's been hit, people. Robbie here with a super chat says this fade up in the chat. Sorry, this fade up in the chat, but appreciate your explanation, Terry. Very insightful. I suppose Ed stepping down has caused a 110% change in United's approach to transfers. It's very positive to see. Yeah, and sometimes when you're changing people's view of you, when you're changing practices, sometimes you can't make an omelet without breaking a few eggs, and you have to stand your ground a little bit. Listen, mate, your English is not bad, my brother. Your English is really good. Maria Williams will see you later on today as well at the Snack Studios. Man like Unit 7, we're going to be there. Very, very excited indeed. Terry, your thoughts on Arsenal? They are the top spenders, aren't they? We'll talk about that tonight on the terrace. Friday night on the terrace, we're going to be there. I need you all there tonight. We've got to do big numbers tonight. Like there's 1,200. I need every single one of you, and bring a friend, because it's going to be a fun show. So bring a friend. And that's what I'm asking for you all to do tonight. At least all of you, bring 2 friends. Get you and 2 friends to watch it. Not together. Do it on your own phones, right? We want them viewing figures. Come along. It's going to be an explosive show. It's going to be an exciting show. Yeah. My brother's really weird though, right? So I was showing it because I showed him in the studio last night. Legend and super. By the way, if you're a legend and a super fan, or if you're if you're a squad member or above, there is a sneak peek of the art design from the studio up right now. So if you're yeah, I'm getting my words all mixed up here. But if you're a squad member or above, you can see that right now on the community page on the Football Terrace. But I showed my brothers last night, and they were like, they sort of said to me, Stu looks great. Are you excited? Yeah. My brother's really warped. He's got a really weird sense of humor. And he said to me, he says, what happens if you were on your way into the studio? Do you imagine how peak it would be if you were on your way into the studio today and you died in a car crash before actually getting to use your new studio? I was like, fucking hell. He is weird like that. Like my brother. I love him, but he is weird. Legitimately, he is weird. If you want to know where it is, I'm posting the link right now in the comment section. What I'd love to see all of you do is get yourself across there. On the show tonight, we're going to be talking transfers, Arsenal preview, games, Tire Techers is being launched. We've got some drinking games that are going to be in there as well. Winter Surfer versus, who's he up against? The Gunner King. Gunner King versus Winter Surfer. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be at 6 p.m. tonight. So please make sure you've gone across. I can't see. I want to see you go over there and like it now. I want to see hundreds of likes over there right now. But yeah, go and get that done, my people. Go and get that done. Do you know what's funny? Someone asked in the comment section, Terry, are you a millionaire, right? Do you know what's funny? I Google searched the Football Terrace the other day and it said related searches. And there was a Terry Flewers net worth page. I was like, someone's put my net worth up on the internet. How? Where has this come from? Right? And I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe what they had my net. Do you want to see what they had my net worth as? I was like, how did they get? Where did they get this information from? By the way, make sure you've all gone across and you've liked Go over there and like and make sure you're ready for tonight's stream. Set a reminder over there. Do you want to see it? Do you guys want to see it? Do you want to see it? Oh, we'll put it up here, right? So this is it. Terry Fleur's net worth on the net worth post, right? Legit. Do you want to see this really, right? I was shocked. I don't know how aware they've got this information from, right? But we'll put it up anyway. Look, I can't believe it. It's like, what? How? I mean, yes, I did work on those films. That's actually true. I did work on those films when I was younger in the stunt world. That's true. You know what I mean? Yeah, I know. I mean, it's still got my old profession when I used to act and do stunt work and things like this. But 15 million quid. 15 million quid. $15 million. Sorry, not quid. Here's another one, I think. This one was from 2017. I mean, this one from 2017 said 14. This is not bad. What does this say here about me? You know, it contains my measurements. Does it? I don't know. It doesn't contain my measurements. Yeah, net worth there of 4 million, which is cool. That was a few years ago now. The point is, I'm not worth $15 million. Honestly, I don't think I'll be doing this. I'm not worth that much money. Like, if anyone's out there, right? If there's any gold diggers, they're like, yo, I'm gonna roll up to Terry, you know, 15 million, 15 mil. It's not true. It's not true. Legitimately, I don't know where they've got that information from. Like, it's not even close to being true. Do you know what I mean? I was like, wow. I don't know what I'm worth. I've never checked, but there we go. I couldn't believe it. I did acting. When I left school, I wanted to be a stuntman. And I was trained to be a stuntman. And I worked on a film called Catwoman Copycat. Don't know if it ever got released. Great film to be involved in. I worked on a few short films, a few TV shows and stuff like that. And I just didn't, my whole life, I wanted to be a stuntman and an actor, martial arts based and everything. And then I started working in the industry, and I really didn't like it. Like, legitimately, I did it between 2003 and 2006, and I just didn't enjoy it. I didn't like it. I didn't like the feel of it. I didn't like the way you were treated. I was also really young and naive, I suppose. Terry, 15 million, you could have a hair. I could have bro, if I had 15 million quid, I'd have long hair. I'd have a new hairstyle every week, bruv. A new hairstyle. Drinks are on me tonight. Listen, I ain't got 15 mil. Trust. Thank you, Raul, for becoming an official member of the Football Terrace. That means a great, great deal to me. But as I said, we're live on a legend and super fan as well. Thank you, Raul. Listen, tonight we're live. Make sure you go over now and get yourself set a reminder. Please bring a friend along or two with you tonight to watch the Football Terrace live. This give us a big, bold, big new night. Adam Charles is on the show. Neeks is on the show. KJ's helping us on the show. Javern is back. Rocket is with me. Marlon Harewood's going to be in the studio. We're going to have Tade, Daniel. Have Hope is going to be there as well. Cannot wait to bring it to you tonight. But until next time, everyone, take care of yourselves. Goodbye. God bless.